Hey everybody, this is Rusty. Welcome back to the 411 from the 414. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about last week's ratings for Raw and SmackDown, what's coming up this upcoming week on Raw and SmackDown, plans for Charlotte and Bayley going into the Royal Rumble and all the way up to WrestleMania. All that along with a familiar name returning to NXT, some changes to the WWE UK tournament, and this day in history for January 8th, right up after this. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's the 411 from the 414. We got a lot to talk about today, but I want to thank those of you who have signed up on Patreon already for helping out the 411 from the 414 with your pledge, your monthly pledge to this show to help keep things afloat every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And Sundays is going to be kind of like the week in review and the looking at the week ahead show. So we can take a look at what we had, talk about a little bit of news that might have happened since Friday, and then look forward onto the next week. And we'll keep things rolling like that as we move on with this program. The first thing we're going to talk about today are ratings. The ratings are in for Raw and SmackDown over the last week, and unfortunately, it was not a repeat of the week prior. We had a good SmackDown 2 weeks ago, with John Cena returning back to SmackDown, completely dominating over Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown won the ratings. They even pulled it into the storyline a little bit. They pulled it in on Raw, they pulled it into SmackDown, they talked about it on Talking Smack. SmackDown beat Raw in the ratings. Could this mean that there's a change coming forward? Yes, it means there's a change coming forward, and it means that they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that that never happens again. What do I mean by that? Why wouldn't they want this to happen? Well, if you happen to watch Bring It to the Table, and they talked about Raw being a 3-hour format show and how that third hour brings in so much money, it's all about the money. It is 100% about the money. They want Monday Night Raw to be that A show. They want to make sure that the rating is there 100% for Raw. They want it to be the flagship show. It kicks off the week. After this week, there will be no more college football. There will be no more Monday Night Football to get in the way of ratings and all that kind of stuff. So we have to look at what they're going to do to bring this rating up, and what better time than the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season to start bringing back all of your big names, putting them on Monday Night Raw, and letting SmackDown continue to do their thing, which is still putting on better programming than Monday Night Raw. I mean, this past week, we had the Intercontinental Championship with Dean Ambrose and The Miz. What a great segment to end the show, highlighting the IC title once again on SmackDown. You had a contract signing for the WWE title in the middle of the show in what was one of the best segments of the entire week. Might even be the segment of the week for me on WWE programming. That was great, full of passion, set up a lot of stuff going forward, brought out some younger stars. We had a lot going on SmackDown. We had Dolph Ziggler turning heel on everybody. Unbelievable work going on SmackDown. But this week it wasn't meant to be, because Bill Goldberg was back. Now, you look at how things broke down, and I'm looking at ShowBuzzDaily.com. They do a ratings breakdown. They've got your Nielsen ratings breakdown every week. You can take a look at those. Usually it's about a day after you get the ratings and everything like that. And these are the finals. Now, you look at everything that came in Monday night, and sure, it was a lot of football going on. You know, you had 15.7 million people watching the Rose Bowl, 9.5 million people watching the Sugar Bowl. It was big. There was a big night, okay? Now, WWE came in 8th. Not only did they come in 8th, but they also came in 10th and 11th. For whatever reason, Monday nights gets broken down by hour. Tuesday night does not. Tuesday night's a little bit different. They combine both hours. So Monday night, the top hour for them out of all of WWE programming was the second hour. The second hour of the night is what got the most viewers. So that sweet spot for them is hour number 2, and they need to really learn this because you look at how it breaks down. Hour 2 was the top viewership hour. Hour 1 was the second highest viewership hour, and the last hour of the night plus the overrun was the lowest viewership number for WWE. You break it down, you had 3.1 million viewers going into hour 2, you had 3 million viewers at hour 1, and 2.9 million viewers at hour 3. What does that tell you? People are changing channels at 10 o'clock. That's the big thing. People are switching away. People are switching away at that third hour. They're going. They're not sticking around. They don't want to be there for a third hour of Monday Night Raw. The respective ratings for the whole thing ranged from a 1.8 to a 1.1 for the ratings. Then we look at Tuesday Night SmackDown. SmackDown was the number 3 rated cable program for the week, or for Tuesday night on there. They walked away with a 0.88 rating and an overall 2.596 million viewers for SmackDown over that 2 hours, which is pretty awesome. Okay, it's down. They had a 2.8. They had 2.8 million viewers last week, or the week before, I should say, on SmackDown when they had John Cena come back. But it looks like WWE really wants to pull out all of the stops to make sure that Monday Night Raw is still your number 1 show. And what do they do to do it? They bring out Bill Goldberg. They kept him until the end. They waited till the overrun to bring out big old Bill. And they suffered for it in hour 3. A lot of people probably tuned in thinking, I'm going to get to see Bill Goldberg. SmackDown likes to put all this kind of really cool stuff in the middle of the show, and they end the night with a match. That's not what happened here. They wait till the last possible second to bring out Bill Goldberg, to bring out Brock Lesnar. And that brings us to this upcoming week. Monday Night Raw, they're announcing quite a few things. One, we are on the road to the Royal Rumble, which is the first stop on the road to WrestleMania. And they let us know we're going to have The Undertaker and we're going to have Shawn Michaels on Monday Night Raw. We're going to have both of them out there. Why would you have The Undertaker, for one, who has been on SmackDown and told SmackDown to watch their backs, and Shawn Michaels, who is retired from the ring and is doing movies right now? Why would you have them out there? Well, the Royal Rumble is at the Alamo Dome, and both The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels are Texas guys. The only guy missing out of this whole thing is Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he's not going to be there this Monday. Or at least, he's not announced to be there this Monday. So we're going to have The Undertaker. We're going to have Shawn Michaels there. They're going to hype up the Royal Rumble. It's going to be a big thing. I'm sure The Undertaker is going to come out and say that he's an entrant in the Royal Rumble. Shawn Michaels is going to be out there to promote a new movie that he's in and hype up the Royal Rumble from his home state of Texas at the Alamo Dome. That's going to be the big thing about that. At the same time, they're hyping the U.S. title again. Just got announced on Friday that we're going to have Roman Reigns in a handicap match up against Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens for the U.S. title. We're going to have that on Monday night. I don't see Roman Reigns losing in a handicap match against these two guys. The reason being, and if you missed it this past Monday during the insanely long overbooked segment at the end of Raw, they're teasing the friendship angle again with Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's been on Twitter multiple times talking about the recording of the new Fozzy album, something that we knew was coming up for quite some time, and now Chris Jericho is going to be recording with Fozzy, which means a new album is coming out. which means a tour is coming. Fozzy always tours after they put out a new album, which means Chris Jericho more than likely will not be on television during this tour. That could be a 2 to 3 month thing. Summer season is touring season when it comes to bands like Fozzy. You get out there, you do your thing, you come back. Chris Jericho could possibly be back in time for SummerSlam. It's a possibility. He could leave after WrestleMania, record his album, take some time off, come back at SummerSlam, maybe get a good program with Kevin Owens going on at that point. But what I see them doing is Roman Reigns is going to win. He's not going to lose that belt. There's going to be a rift between Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. I see it happening. It's like happening right in front of us. They teased it with Roadblock. We're going to have to see if they actually go through with it this time. But I see a Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens match happening at WrestleMania. I really do. That's the match I see happening for both those guys. It might be for a U.S. title. We don't know. We're going to have, more than likely, Roman Reigns winning at the Royal Rumble over Kevin Owens. I don't want that to happen, but that's where I see things going. I really see things going in that direction of Roman Reigns winning at the Rumble. He'll have the belt. At some point, the U.S. title will go to Chris Jericho. And then at WrestleMania, it's going to be Jericho and Owens, U.S. title on the line. I know it sounds weird after Kevin Owens will have had the Universal title for so long that he would be in a feud with Chris Jericho for the U.S. title, but the U.S. title is the only one that he hasn't gotten yet, and I really want to see that one on him. I want to see him say that he's had everything. He's had everything in the WWE, everything that he could ever want, and the U.S. title's the only one that slipped away. That's my thought on it. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below about that scenario. Let's talk about SmackDown. SmackDown has a lot going on this upcoming week. First off, Baron Corbin, John Cena. The match is made. Baron Corbin made his presence known during the contract signing this past Tuesday on SmackDown. And John Cena flat out said he's been waiting for it. He wants Baron Corbin. So now we're going to get Baron Corbin, John Cena on SmackDown. I think it's going to be a good match. This could be one of those things where Cena is starting to help the younger talent. You know, he's calling it the My Time Is Now era. And, you know, screw the new era. It's the My Time Is Now era. But I really think that he's going to start doing like Jericho does and starts helping put over a lot of the new and younger talent, just like he had done to him. You know, his first match coming on out, Kurt Angle. Come on, you know, you gotta start doing the same thing. So Baron Corbin, looks like you're getting your shot Tuesday night on SmackDown. I don't see Baron Corbin coming out with the win. I see AJ Styles screwing with the match a little bit, which might lead us into a triple threat match the next week, and then we move into Royal Rumble. It'll be good. Definitely going to be a good match. We'll have to see what happens here. A tag team match, tag team title rematch, American Alpha and the Wyatt family. Who are we going to get from the Wyatt family in this match? Are we going to get Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper? Are we going to get Luke Harper and Randy Orton, or are we going to get Bray and Randy? We don't know. They seem to run by the Freebird rules because when they won, it was Bray and Randy. When they lost, it was Luke and Randy, and Bray Wyatt had nothing to do with it. So we're going to go into this entire thing not knowing who's going to be in the ring, and I like that whole thing of it. I also like the fact that we've got Luke Harper and Randy Orton at odds with each other still. Luke Harper not trusting Randy Orton one bit, and Bray Wyatt is stuck in the middle. Which side is he going to choose when ultimately Randy Orton and Luke Harper start going at it? I predicted already Randy Orton will eliminate Luke Harper at the Royal Rumble, and it is going to make Bray Wyatt have to choose who he's going to side with in the Wyatt family. Maybe we're going to get a good Luke Harper singles run. Maybe we're going to get a Randy Orton singles run against Bray Wyatt. Who knows? Either way, I don't see them dropping the titles. I don't see American Alpha dropping the titles after only just gaining them, after working their way through being the number one tag team picked for SmackDown in the draft. I don't see them going through and saying, nope, we're going to take this off you. Everybody's been waiting for it, so let's just pull it away. Same thing could be said for Bray Wyatt, finally getting some gold around his waist, but he never lost it. Just remember that. Bray Wyatt never lost the belt. He won it. He didn't lose it. Randy and Luke did. Also, Nikki Bella versus Natalya. This has been a great program for Natalya. Whenever she is the bad girl out of all this, she shines. She really does. You get the fierce competitor of Natalya. They're bringing in the whole Total Divas stuff. They're bringing in a lot of the storyline from there. And I've talked about that in the past about how I don't like it. But it does help further their storyline in the ring. It gives them something to fight for that isn't a title. They're basically talking about, Nikki's the pretty one, gets everything handed to her. John Cena's never going to marry her. Natalya's the better wrestler. That's where this is all going. Nikki saying that, Natalya wouldn't be anywhere without her family's name, all that kind of stuff. It's something that brings the story together. You can go watch it on Total Divas if that is your thing. It's not my thing. If it's your thing, you can go watch that on Total Divas, but we've got those matches set up for SmackDown. Why is it, and I want to know from you guys, why is it that a 2-hour program has already told us about half of their program that is going to happen on Tuesday night, but we only know of one match that's going to happen on Monday Night Raw, a 3-hour show? We should know probably like 5 matches going into Monday night of what's going to happen. Don't know. As of Friday night when I'm recording this, we don't know. We don't know what is going on other than we're going to have a triple threat or a handicap match for the U.S. title, The Undertaker showing up, Shawn Michaels showing up. That's your show. That is what they want to use to boost ratings for Monday night. What are they using for Tuesday nights? We're going to put the tag team titles on the line. We're going to put John Cena in a match with Baron Corbin, one of your bright up-and-coming stars. Oh, we're going to put Nikki Bella and Natalya out there. For all of you that do watch Total Divas, we're going to put 2 of them in the ring together and let them catfight the whole thing out. All that along with the rest of the build that we've got going on for the women's championship between Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss. We've got the IC title mess going on with The Miz and Dean Ambrose. And we've also got AJ Styles. We got to bring AJ Styles into the fold. Dolph Ziggler, Apollo Crews, Kalisto. All of these things are fluid and moving and stuff that you can get behind inside of that 2-hour show. And it's amazing how much you can put in a 2-hour show. And we'll talk about that in our whole This Day in History, because you'd be amazed what you can pack into a 2-hour show. We move on from there. We are going to talk about a little bit more of what is going on with Charlotte and Bayley. We just got done talking about Nikki and Natalya. Let's talk about Charlotte and Bayley. And this is a little bit of a possible spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear it, whatever, I'm excuse me, I'm here to bring you the news, here to make sure you guys know what's going on. But the Wrestling Observer is reporting that Charlotte and Bayley are getting ready to head into a very long program that's going to go into WrestleMania. We just saw Bayley become the number 1 contender over Nia Jax this past Monday on Raw. And right now, the plan is for Bayley to eventually win the Women's Championship at WrestleMania. The Raw Women's Championship will be Bayley's at WrestleMania. But it's going to be like jumping through hoops and hurdles the entire way. Currently, the idea is for Charlotte to keep screwing her over, basically. Whether she's getting DQ'd, counted out, something's happening, she can't compete that week. Whatever it is, it's going to be done so that there's more sympathy for Bayley going into WrestleMania. Now, I like this idea. It is a welcome change. It is definite heel tactics. as far as what is going on with the women's title. It's kind of like what we had with Sasha and Charlotte, but it's going to be with a lot less flip-flop going on. So we might see Charlotte holding on to this belt all the way until the end of March when WrestleMania happens. And that's a good thing. That is a very good thing. She should hold on to that belt for more than 3 weeks at a crack, where, Charlotte loses the belt on Monday Night Raw just to regain the belt at a pay-per-view and keep her pay-per-view streak intact. I think it's good that they're going to work on the whole pay-per-view streak angle. I can see them doing it at the Royal Rumble. She's got a match with Bayley. Have Bayley lose. The streak is intact. Go into Fastlane. Have some sort of match between the two of them there. Charlotte wins, keeps it going. Bayley then gets a shot, her final shot at WrestleMania, comes out with the win. Charlotte loses at WrestleMania, the place where she first won the Raw Women's Championship, and we go from there. That will be a great way to cap off a year for Charlotte, where she won it at WrestleMania 32, and she ended the year losing it at WrestleMania 33. I think it's a great thing for Charlotte to go through and say, all right, 2016, beginning of 2017, that was my year for the WWE. That was my breakout year. I was the women's champ. I held it longer than anybody for that year, and now it's time to give it to Bayley. Maybe we still have a program with Charlotte and Bayley after WrestleMania. We go to like Payback or, whatever it is they're going to have after WrestleMania this year. And it'll be good. It'll be a good change of pace. It'll be a good change of pace to see an actual build for the title instead of just, oh, it's Monday Night Raw. We're having a match with Bayley and Charlotte. Bayley won the title. So that means next week at the Royal Rumble, we're going to have Charlotte win. And then 2 weeks later, right in between Royal Rumble and Fastlane, let's have Bayley win the title again just to drop it at Fastlane and then go into WrestleMania and he'll have Bayley win. Enough of the flip-flop. Let's have a nice long program. It can be done. Look at what they did with Dolph Ziggler and The Miz. It can be done. You can hold a title for a long time while using the tactics and not getting the same match over and over. It can be done. And I want to know what you guys think about it. Do you want to see a nice long program with these two over the WrestleMania season? Because I do. I want to see it. That's where I want to see things going. That's where I want things to go for Bayley and Charlotte. Charlotte dropping the belt after having a hell of a big year from WrestleMania 32 to WrestleMania 33. I think it's going to be good for business. I think it's something that we definitely want to have them go on with. Those are my thoughts on that. We go into some NXT news. This is a spoiler alert because you're going to see it on NXT very soon, but it's been all over the internet. It's been all over Twitter. So you've probably seen it already. Chris Hero returned to NXT as Cassius Ohno and got in Shinsuke Nakamura's face. That's right, we've got a returning guy coming back in here. Now, I don't think he's going to be in there for TakeOver, going up against Shinsuke Nakamura, but you can sure bet that Cassius Ohno is ready to roll and be part of NXT. Once again, he's made his way in. It's going to be some good stuff. We need some new fresh talent over there, some new superstars. We're coming up on WrestleMania season. That means two things. People are getting fired and people are getting brought up. It happens every year. After Fastlane, going into WrestleMania, they're going to start trimming the roster. Then at WrestleMania, they're going to start bringing up NXT talent and putting them on either SmackDown or Raw to try to make the program that much better. And at the same time, you need to backfill NXT. You need to bring guys in from the indies, give new guys new shots at Full Sail University and let them start doing their thing. We've got all the new Chinese guys coming in to the Performance Center. It might be their time in NXT right now, and let's start bringing up the guys, the Samoa Joes, the Bobby Roodes, the Shinsuke Nakamuras. let Cassius Ohno get the NXT belt and hold on to it for a while and work with the other guys. Work with the new guys that are coming up. Get his footing under him once again to the WWE style before you bring him up. Maybe it's around SummerSlam time. Maybe it's around Survivor Series, something. But you got to give him time. You got to give him time to really get over with the fans. Bring him in slowly. It has worked. It has worked. It is a formula that has worked for a while. And I know a lot of us want to see, we want to see Samoa Joe, and we want to see Cassius Ohno, and we want to see Nakamura, and we want to see Bobby Roode now. Like, we want them now in there. But there just simply isn't the room with how they're booking things on Raw and SmackDown. It'd be cool to see, but I don't think it's happening just quite yet. So Chris Hero, Cassius Ohno, he is back in NXT. I'm looking forward to this. This should be some good matches coming out, especially if he gets in a program. If he gets in a program with like Bobby Roode or gets in a program with Shinsuke Nakamura, game on. It's going to be great. I love what is going on there. Now, the other bit of news that dropped on Friday, WWE has removed, I'm seeing this courtesy of WrestlingNews.co, one of my favorite news sources. WWE removed several wrestlers that were originally announced for the WWE UK Championship Tournament. We all know about that. It's happening this upcoming Saturday and Sunday, the 14th and the 15th of January. The wrestlers that have been removed from the tournament include Tucker, Jack Stars, Chris Tyler, Ringo Ryan, and Tyler Ali. The winner of this tournament, as we all know, is going to become the first ever United Kingdom WWE champion. The tournament is going to take place, as I said, on January 14th and 15th. There will be 2 alternates and 16 tournament participants. They have a few people to fill in. They need 3 more names right now. The single elimination tournament is going to air on the WWE network. And right now, the 15 people that they've got lined up are Danny Burch, Mark Andrews, Roy Johnson, Dan Maloney, Joseph Connors, Tyson T-Bone, James Drake, Tyler Bate, Sam Gradwell, Jordan Devlin, Wolfgang, Peter Dunn, H.C. Dyer, Trent Seven, and Saxon Huxley. Those are the guys that we know of right now. We still have to get 2 alternates, 1 more guy in the tournament, or are one of those guys the alternates? We don't know, but there's going to be a total of 18 guys. The alternates are there in case somebody actually gets injured. It's going to be a nice thing. I can't wait for this tournament. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to watch live, so I'm going to have to catch up on it. My kids are home on the 14th and 15th, so I'm going to have to make sure that I watch this at some point. God, it's going to be so good to see this tourney. I like it. I like the whole idea of what is going on with this UK tourney. I like the tournament thing. It's good stuff. That's all I got to say about that. We look at now, as always, we go into this, we talk about this day in wrestling history. I've got 2 things for you going on. 4 years ago today, at a SmackDown taping in Miami, Florida, Alberto Del Rio defeated the Big Show in a last man standing match to win the World Heavyweight Championship. The big gold belt, the big one that came over from WCW. It's the last time that title would change hands on SmackDown. The WWE's big gold belt was going to be retired at the end of that year, but that's the last time that title belt changed over on SmackDown. That was SmackDown's belt for the longest time. They held it over there. Alberto Del Rio got it for the last title change on SmackDown. And then we went on to retire the belt later on that year. 19 years ago today, January 8th, 1998, WCW presented the debut episode of Thunder. This was shortly after we had some controversial championship matches that took place at Starrcade and the Nitro right after at the end of the year of 1997. And the whole reason for Thunder, the big thing that got people over to Thunder, was they stripped Sting of the belt. The ending was controversial to those matches. They stripped the belt from him. NWO, Hulk Hogan, thought he was going to get the belt. No, not so. It was completely stripped, and it set up a vacant title on WCW. One of the things that always seemed to happen in the WCW NWO era. A lot of title vacancies going on there. But here is what we had for matches in a 2.5 hour night over on WCW Thunder. Randy Savage defeated Chris Adams. Rick Martel defeated Louis Spicolli. Hiroyoshi Tenzan defeated Michiyoshi Ohara. Try saying that 6 times fast. Ric Flair defeated Chris Jericho. The Giant, the Big Show, defeated Meng. Meng was one of my favorites in WCW. I always loved his crazy hair. It was great. Goldberg defeated Steve McMichael. The Steiner brothers in tag team action defeated Buff the Stuff Bagwell and Conan. Ray Traylor defeated Scott Hall. Juventud Guerrero defeated Ultimo Dragon to win the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. Lex Luger defeated Scott Norton, and DDP defeated Kevin Nash by DQ to retain the WCW United States Championship. That is your day in history for January 8th. That's all I've got for today. As always, thank you for tuning in. I try to keep these things to about a half hour or less. So we're going to roll with that and get out of here today. As always, like I said at the beginning of the program, if you want to support the 411 from the 414 through Patreon, the link is in the description down below. You can go check that out and become a patron for as low as $1 a month. Max pledge is $5 a month. And if you want to make a one-time donation, there is a link in the description down there. Look for the Streamlabs link that will let you make a one-time donation to the channel. Until next time, we'll see you guys on Wednesday for episode 4 of the 411 from the 414. This is Rusty. I'm out.